Hello everyone, how are we? Well, I'm pretty damn good actually. So what we're going to do today is I'm actually going to give you a full tour. Now I've done a little tour before, but it was only a little tour and I was still learning about the property. I'm still learning about this property, where the water is, what it does, what tank does what, where the connections are. And so, yeah, it's been a really big learning curve. So we'll do an actual tour and I'll show you what I've found out. I'll show you what we've done, what we've achieved, what we've failed at. And I'll probably talk about just some people that have influenced me and some people that I've met along the last, 4 weeks. And just about the channel and why we're doing it and what we're doing. So stick around, hopefully it'll be a little bit interesting. Things are starting to get a bit more interesting around here, but it's good to know that, for you guys to know that right now we have no budget. We've got no budget, we're just drifting along, paycheck to paycheck, and we're doing what we can. So the budget's going to come soon, hopefully. We had another open today, and it went well by all accounts, so we'll find that out probably Monday afternoon, Tuesday, how we're going. That was our second open. The first one went okay, but we only got one, well, went well, but we only got one offer. And yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. So this is a compost heap. This is the first of many. This is actually all pretty good stuff. It doesn't look like it because it's dry, but underneath there's a heap of wood chip. I don't know if I can get down to it, but yeah, it's certainly not hot at the moment because I've been busy and I haven't watered it, and there's actually no tap fitting up here, so we have to cut water. And as you guys know, when you have to cut water, a lot of the times it just doesn't get done. So I did this. Yes, I did this. I backed my trailer over this gate. What happened is this gate's a really tight squeeze, and me being a confident muppet at that, decided that it would be good to park his ute in here all the time, and it wasn't. And I knew it was going to happen. But I also knew that I needed to change this fence, so I've done a fair bit of damage to it. If you've seen my earlier videos, it was laying on the ground. And yeah, someone suggested I move that star picket, but then I was like, well, it's holding the fence up, it'll work, it'll do. I may have actually tried to pound it into concrete, so it might not be rock, we'll see. So got this old ladder that was left by the previous occupants. They're great, left us too, so really happy with that. But right now it is holding up the gate. So this area, don't know why there's a cutout in the fence there. It's just full of succulents. There's nothing in there. That's got to come out. And this area, because I'm a gardener, that's what I do for a job. I mow lawns, I do pruning, do small landscaping jobs, and work with small machinery and things like that. So that's my day-to-day. So I'm going to put a skip here because dumping costs heaps in Australia, heaps. And so I'll get a skip in, I'll fill that up, I'll get somebody to take it away, and hopefully that'll reduce my general waste dumping. But this is, and I know it looks boring, and it is a little bit boring at the moment, but this is the engine of the farm. All right, so what we're going to do, and again, if you go back and have a look at a couple of my shorts, I can get tons and tons of green waste through my job, tons of it. So the plan is to turn this whole area into a composting operation. We're going to put a big roller door in there and replace this with Colorbond, one with a button so I can drive up the road, back the ute in without wrecking it, and feed it all into a big chipper. So I'm going to sort all that stuff out at work into bins, and then when I come home I'll already have sorted into green waste, sticks, logs, things like that. I think I'm going to get a log splitter as well so we can make firewood. But the real reason I'm doing all this, and this is actually the passion, this is what I want to do, is this top shed, half of this will be turned into a worm farm. So I really want to have a couple of million worms in here, or as many as I can get, run it as a big wedge system. We're going to get a little digger in, and we are just going to be making lots and lots of compost to feed to the worms. So that's why I'm making the compost. I understand that we are going to have to be quite commercial about it due to standards and safety regulations and things like that in Australia. And the other thing is, if you don't make a good product and you market it and you tell the farmers around here that it's a great product, and then you turn up and it does nothing, or even worse, inhibits the growth of the grapes, because that's our big industry around here, viticulture. And so it actually has to work. So I'd say there's probably going to be a year or so of just testing it, getting it right, seeing what materials we get, and getting it lab tested. And the same for tea. So I was talking to Beshi, there's a couple of different options with the worm tea. You can keep it in a system with a bubbler, and that way it stays aerobic, or you can run it in sterile bins. So I haven't decided which way's better yet, and what we might do is actually do one of each. All right, so I want to experiment a lot. A lot of this is just for me to learn, with a view to creating an industry for worm castings in viticulture. So that would be the ultimate goal. So in the meantime, what we're going to do, just so you know, these are Egyptian walking onions. Planted these about 3 days ago, and they're starting to stand up. But what will happen with these will probably die off, these big bits, and they will split down the bottom, and you'll get new shoots coming out. So something like that. So they'll grow back a bit smaller, but then if we look after them, they'll get nice and big again. Have no idea what that tree is. That was a gift from previous owners. And there's a strange dog up in those trees. So yeah, back to worm farming. We have to get it right. It has to be commercial, because to farm it out to sell it to the viticulture industry, we're going to need a lot of it. And to give you an idea, worm tea here sells for about $1 per litre, and you would do it to those guys in 1,000-litre drums, and but it would have to be filtered to an extent where it will go through their drip lines. So it's a process. It's a process that I really want to get involved in. This is super ground level at the moment, but certainly a lot of passion behind the project, and hopefully, you know, long term, hopefully that's what we can get going. So I'm just showing you my plants now. Now, I talked a bit about just enjoying the small things in life, and for me, this is sort of one of them. Not sure if you can see that, but I have given that a fertilise just with Charlie Carp. It's a carp, European carp based fertiliser that we use because it's a pest, it's organic, and it's pretty hard to hurt stuff with. So this mulberry, it's weeping mulberry, has fruit everywhere, and I have never seen it like this before. We've had it for about 2 years, but it was down the side of the house with intermittent sun, and probably got a bit neglected because, again, we didn't have water down there really, so we had to carry the water in. So I really like that tree. That's the first tree that came here, and it's the first tree that's going to be planted. And I really like mulberries, but I don't like them when they're purple. I like them when they're just turning purple, when they're a bit red still. So this is a chicken coop. It's much better set up than my last one. They don't have to fight to get up there. We only had one bale of pea straw. I've got another one down at the old house, so we'll go and steal that before we hand the keys over. We got any eggs? We got one. Probably a late layer. Leah probably got them this morning. I can tell you though, that is one from one of the black girls. So either Rosa or Scully. So probably Scully. Scully usually lays quite late. So yeah, keep taking you around. The tomato from the short, it's not going to make it. So we will put something else in that pot. I find with clay pots, they get really hot. And in my climate, that's a really big problem, hot soil. So that's why I use the white buckets that you see. I also use them because they're free. I get them from my partner's work, Leah's work. I was talking to Jane from Rocking Worms, and she told me to put chickens in here. She's like, yep, that'll sort it out. No worries. And I let them in there, but I also put the chickens in there at the same time. And then I get another message back saying, oh, you have cabbages in there. I thought that was just weeds. No, Jane, No, Jane, you should know me well enough by now to know that if there is soil, I will plant something in it. Doesn't look like it, but there's a ton of onions in there. There's a tiny little thyme there. It's not actually going that well, so it's probably because of the competition, but I like to have roots in the ground. I tend to not get too stressed if this stuff comes up, especially in the initial stages. We'll deal with it as we go along. Yeah, it's not really a problem. It would be nice if the chickens went in there, and I will tell you, they generally ignored everything in there except the grass, but then they totted off away. They weren't that interested in it. So I guess it's good, but it's bad. Okay, Old Man Dunno, going well. Actually used that in a spaghetti bolognese the other night, and yeah, it's fine. No dramas. Just adds some saltiness, a bit of freshness to it. Basil, it's actually come back a little bit. And we've got this garden here. So this is, again, it's all planted out. You can't see it. The chickens ate all my lettuce. So that's disappointing. I've got no lettuce, but that's easy fixed. But there's heaps of stuff in here. Chinese broccoli, spinach, cabbage, red cabbage, coriander, marigolds, broad beans, onions, leeks. So that is fully planted out. And I would say give it about 2 weeks and we'll come back and we'll have a look, and this will look very, very different. Still haven't done anything to the tomato because I've been busy having fun. All right, so we got the sweet apple berry, down there that Ellis from the Jackson 4 YouTube channel gave me, and Tulsi basil, which is going fine, and the guava, which did have struggles. I had it out in the sun, and it just sort of fell over, and I put it in here, and it seems to have fixed itself up. But growing tropicals down here is pretty hard. It's probably going to get too cold for it. Luckily, I live on a hill, so we don't get frost, but the valley does. So it'll probably get down to 0 here at some stage. But generally at night, it will only be sort of 1 or 2 degrees, even in the coldest times of the year. And it doesn't snow or anything like that, obviously. This is a nectarine that my mum gave me, so I don't know what sort of nectarine it is, but it doesn't matter because I like them all. And I am assuming that given it's going to be grown organically and looked after and loved, that it should produce really nice fruit. So I can't wait, but you know, it's going to be at least a year. It'd be better if it's planted in the ground, which it will be. This is going to be an orchard, and that's why I've got all the pots sort of sitting out. We're just playing around with where we're going to put them. But we actually need some machinery to dig this ground. I'm sort of hoping there's a layer of rock and dirt underneath it, and I think it might be that way because this used to be orchards by all account. So I don't know how they did that, but yeah, the dirt itself is amazing. My parents' garden, you just plant something in the ground and it grows unbelievably. So I've actually today just given all the stuff that hasn't had it already some of these worm castings. I've got them, so I'm going to use them, and I've been using them in pots. So a lot of people don't like to add biology to their pots, but you know, if you're holding a hammer, every problem looks like the solution. No, that's not right. What is it? If you're holding a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. So yeah, I've got worm castings, and everything's going to get them. And again, I said it the other day, I was pretty happy with myself, that this is going to be the garden that worms built. All right. So what I do notice with worm castings at this sort of initial stage is that if you're planting in ground and you're chucking some castings in the bottom of the hole, it really helps with transplant shock, and it really helps with just the plants being really nice and green. They tend not to get a heap of yellow leaf or nitrogen deficiency or whatever it is, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, boron, whatever it is. Oh, hello, Mr. Bee. This is the only plant in my yard that gets bees. It's unbelievable. Well, at this time of year, we've got callistemons. They'll crank up and they'll get them in, but that won't happen till spring. It does happen in autumn if you prune them, but you've got to fertilise them as well, and then they'll give you a second bloom. But given this place is growing in rock and they're not getting watered, then it's probably not going to happen. All right, so this is their old chicken shed. We got the boxes there that we're going to put up. Just haven't had time. They're running some sort of operation out of here. I've been finding stuff everywhere. So yeah, it's just a little shed. Surprisingly spider free. which is nice. So this area here, actually we'll start at there. So I said that's going to be an orchard, but it's also going to be an orchard where the chickens are integrated, and they'll be able to roam up the back, and we're going to have some sort of composting system up there where we can have the chickens scratching around in the compost, but we need to be able to keep it clean and need to be able to make the compost easy to shift in and out of that area. So and into the worm farm as well, actually. So that's why I said I'm probably going to buy a little digger. It's a fair bit of a layout, but I think when you're shifting tons of stuff all the time, then it's probably worth it, especially here. So that's the valley. We live in an arm of the valley, so the main valley's down there where you're looking at. That's actually the furthest end of the valley, and there's a range there, and over the range it gets really dry. And then about 60 kilometres away is a town called Blanchetown, and that is where the Murray River runs through. That's my closest point to the Murray River, which is where we get all our water from. And then after that it starts to green up a little bit more and turns into what's called the Riverland. And the Riverland is a major fruit and nut producing area in Australia. So that's where a lot of our almonds come from. It's where a lot of our stone fruit and our citrus fruit come from. And the Murray winds through there. And some of it's really beautiful. A lot of it's mulga scrub. But yeah, some of it's really nice. You know, the main towns are pretty cool. Remark's good. Loxton and Berry, they're all nice little towns. But yeah, they're built on the Murray. They're basically fruit farming towns, and they're over the back there, about 100 kilometres away. I really like Waikerie, it's nice. So I was left this big tyre here. I'm not going to pull the sheet up on it, but they're just full of sand. Just builder's sand. So I don't know what we're going to do with that. Something cool. There was a smoker there. It was a big heavy one, but he loved it, so he took it. I'm like, all right. Must have been good because it weighed about 400 kilos. So that's our old brown tank. This is where all our town water goes into, and then that pumps it into the house. But we do have town water taps all over the property. Now what I've found out in the last couple of days is that these tanks here are only the top two aren't connected to anything. The concrete one is only connected to the brown one through overflow from the roof. But they're both empty at the moment. So I think they're about 60,000 litres, maybe a bit more, 65,000 litres, those tanks. And we ran out about 2 weeks ago. So a week and a half into us being here, we ran out of rainwater. And that shows you how dry it's been. We are actually in the middle of a drought, so which is weird because we were copped La Nina, and last year was really, really wet. So as a gardener, I notice the weather, and I think as I get older I notice the weather as well. I certainly don't handle the heat like I used to. So we're just walking down the right hand side of this shed. That's where I sort of hang out so I don't destroy the house. But we are going to turn this shed into, come on guys, smush, come on. So we're going to turn this shed into a commercial kitchen. Now, I was talking to somebody that does know what they're talking about yesterday, and he suggested it might be quite hard to get council approval. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to write a business proposal to the council, and really present it to them as it's not going to ruin the neighbourhood. It's not going to be busy. Most of it's going to be menu log or just quick pick up and go, and we're only going to serve 50 people a night. And so what I really want, and what I've always wanted, is essentially a secret shop. So a shop for locals. And I know it seems weird that I'm putting it on YouTube, but where I live, I don't really think we're going to get any traffic as such, road traffic. That's the main road that goes through the town, down there, 2 intersections over. So people drive straight past that. They really don't know we're here. So I think that it could benefit the community to have a little shop. There's something in the Barossa called the Barossa tax. It's a tourist area, and the Barossa tax is, well, you can probably figure out what it is. They say there's never a recession in the Barossa because every time there's a recession somewhere else in the world, people drink more wine. So this is, it's I guess a little financial ecosystem of its own here in the Barossa. There's about 5 towns, and they won't let big companies in. And we don't have any of the big supermarket brands. We do have Aldi, which is weird, but yeah, they won't let McDonald's in and all that sort of stuff. So it's very local. The local supermarket, which is amazing, it's the best supermarket I've ever been to, is a co-op. So they still have all the big brands, but they buy local, and locals can join up, and you get a discount on stuff that they can get a lot cheaper because they get it from the region. So it's a bloody good idea. Now I'm just walking down the front here. Just want to show you this paddock. I met the neighbour last week. Currently in a water sharing agreement, I guess, because there's no water on this property. She's got some apple trees down there. So they're apple trees, and up there's a couple of stone fruit, and up the back used to be a big chicken operation, because this used to be part of this house, and they've split it and sold it. So I was gazing longingly at this paddock for a while. I still do, but the lady Ingrid, that I think it's Sigrid or Ingrid. Sorry, I only met her once, so it's been a bit. And so she's moving out because of all the housing that's getting built in Gawler, which is probably the major town of the Barossa. So she said that she's not happy with that, and she's moving out here, and she's going to try and be as self-sufficient as she can. And she's right into permaculture, so that's great. It's great to have a like-minded neighbour. And I can't say that I'm looking forward to a house being built on this property, but at the end of the day, it's her property, and she can absolutely do what she likes with it. So that's that. This is the front yard. I have been investigating irrigation up here, and I am a little bit stumped, but I think they may have just run it over the road, over the path. Not sure. But there's a pipe with nothing on it there, and I'm going to be honest, these things need water. They all need water, even though they're natives. Some of them are dying. It's just been so dry. It's just been so dry. And we were supposed to get rain today, but it just does not look like it's going to happen. The wind's up, the weather's changing, it's cooler, and the clouds look thicker, but it's just not doing anything. It's drying up. It's just drying up. So we'll get a few spits here and there in different regions, and that's it. So I dug a hole number 2. Yep, we got rock here too, so the whole property is fairly similar. There's more topsoil down here than there is up there, and I guess the good thing is that this topsoil will be actually really good stuff. But yeah, we need to get a machine in and get under this and have a really good look, see what we can achieve. Just want to give a shout out to Ellis from the Jackson 4. He came around yesterday, or the day before, sorry, and dropped me off a heap of seeds and warrigal green. And you know, like, I'd wanted to grow warrigal greens, but I'm not from a place that has them, and I've never actually really seen them before. And so when I got them, did not realise they were warrigal greens. I just read the note on the container and it said a dahlia, so I'm sorry about that. I told you I was a dumbass. So yeah, it's all natives out here, shrubbery. I'm not going to change the infrastructure in this front garden as such. We're just going to, I mean, this is swale territory, let's be honest, so I'm definitely thinking about that. But we get some water down here, and then we'll just slowly change these plants, a lot of them anyway, into food production plants. But the aesthetic will stay the same, I think, quite natural. And I don't want it to be super high maintenance, but you know, if you're going to grow food, you got to do some work, unfortunately. I love these. I think they're like ghost gums. I've had a rant about gum trees before, but they really are pretty, a lot of them. You don't want them in your yard, but if you do have them in your yard, these ghost gums are probably the best. I think they're a ghost gum. They're probably the best because they don't shed too much bark. The thing with gum trees is, you know, they've got shallow roots, they shed bark, so not only do they fall on your house, they will set it on fire. So these will probably, well, those 3 look like they were planted, but I'd say a lot of these other ones were probably already here. So actually we'll go in the backyard, but only to show you this is a daily struggle. They are not supposed to be down here. Let's go and have a chat. What are you doing? You know you're not supposed to be down here. We have this talk 15 times a day. Jules, why you gotta be like that? Come on. Buck, buck. Buck, buck. Come on. Oh, you little bugger. Come on, girl. I know, you look comfortable. Go on, you can't be here. You can't be here. Come on. Buck, 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 buck. Buck, 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 buck. Buck, 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 buck. Up you go. Come on. Up you go. Come on. Up you go. Go on. Off you go. Don't eat any of my plants. Alright. I'll come out and I'll give you some bread soon. Come on. Come on, get a move on. Alright. I'll put this little gate. They're not very smart. Little gates stop them. But you know who they also stop? Smushy. They don't stop Grace. She'll just knock that down in a second. But Smushy, yeah, he can't figure that one out. Got to bow all this down the Savo. So I think we've got a fair bit done on a very modest budget. Those two gardens are completely planted out. We're going to get a lot of food from them. And I've told you. How did... Alright, let's left the gate open. So yeah, we're going to get... We've got the food going, and that stuff's just for us, because I'll be honest, I've really missed my herbs at home, most of all. Being able to go out into the backyard and just grab flavour is something that I think I had underestimated, and really do miss it. So can't wait for those Egyptian walking onions to get going and I can use them. I've got tarragon, I've got thyme, I've got basil, I've got parsley, and I've got rosemary on the go. And I'd imagine they're about 2 weeks away from being ready to harvest a little bit, although the basil will die shortly. I'm just going to take you over to this church. I've never actually been here. I hope they don't mind me coming for a look with the pups. I'm going to take you in here to show you these. These are really old olive trees. And I was watching a thing on YouTube, I think yesterday even, that says that olives are basically the closest thing to an immortal that something biological can be. I can't remember why she said that was. I think it was because they produce antibacterial stuff, and olive oil is really good for them, like it is for us. So yeah, I imagine they'll produce fruit. Are they all? I don't even know. They're olive trees. They look like olive trees. Man, if they're not olive trees, somebody's going to give me heaps of shit in the comments. So, but frankly, I deserve it. This piece of land, the reason I've taken you here is because this is a church, the old Lutheran church. It's beautiful, actually. It's a really nice looking building. Look at those windows. They are cool. They're really amazing. How have we lost the charm in building all this modern stuff? And you know, this still does it. This type of glass and things like that, in my opinion. So yeah, it's a really nice building. It's got the bell there. It happens at about 10 o'clock every Sunday morning. And it's got this land. Now, it's dry, it's hard. But I kind of think that maybe this is an opportunity for some community work, which is something I'd like to get into. I don't want a virtue signal or anything like that, but it just, I don't know, just seems like something that we can do as we get older, you know, and not just help ourselves, help other people, and for no real reason, just because you can. So I'm not religious at all, but I've got no problem with it at all, and happy to work with the priest or the father over here. I'm definitely going to come over and have a look. Smushy! Smushy! Come here! Come here! Come here! Oh, Smushy just got beaten up by a little dog, I think. Come on, we better go. You big coward. You big coward. Come here. Come here. You are supposed to be a mean, protecting, house guarding dog, and all you do is sleep and eat. And look, you could look. I can never stay mad at you, Smushy. All right, so that's it, guys. That's the tour, the grand tour, and a lot of the reason I do this is to just have a diary for myself, and I think that in a couple of months I can come back, or even a year hopefully, come back, and it's going to be grand. It's going to be all green, and I might have some trees that are growing and things like that. So it seems boring now. It is a little bit, you know, doing it all. It's a one-man show, but it is going to kick off. It is absolutely going to kick off. and I cannot wait. All right, guys, it is a lovely day here. I hope it's as good where you are as it is where I am, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye now.